Waiting to confirm. What is this machine taking over from my computer? Why does it do that? Alright, we should be good on YouTube. Michael!
Oh, sorry.
We are good on YouTube and on Twitch, so we are live and on the air. Welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. It is a lovely Tuesday morning, and we are here mainly to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. If you have any of those, you can jump over to foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live, and we have a couple ways you can join our IRC chat and talk to us directly. And otherwise, you can just help us steer the conversation or chat about what we have going on. Yeah, so
what do we have going on?
Well, right now we have a second new release of CryptoPrevent beta with some issues and things fixed and adjusted that were reported. So test that out, see how you like it. I think it's getting pretty close and polished. It's looking pretty good, and we added actually a whole bunch of new features. There's new known malware detection, so even on default, it'll try to protect against some of the ransomware that doesn't use random naming and things like that. Then there's a few added touches and features to the honeypot detection, so hopefully that will grab even more. And what else did I add? There was something else there. Let's go to the page and pull the page up here.
There's a number of things, but I do want to compliment you. It is looking like it's safe for daily use at this point.
So there is the link for it if you want to check that out. And let's see. Oh yes, we added new software restriction policies.
Lots.
The list of executables that could be blocked.
What's the total number now?
On maximum or extreme, which those will both have this. No, maximum or extreme that have the same software restriction policies are 3,900, just over 3,900.
Almost 4,000. Wow. Okay. So
prior
to these changes, it was we were talking about being in
18.
the 1,800 area. Oh wow. Okay. So and that's awesome. That's great.
But it doesn't seem to affect performance on applying those.
No, not at all.
Same exact time, and
tested it thoroughly.
Two of the new features that one fixed feature was the double file extensions software restriction policy will now block from anywhere. Previously, it was only set to block at app data, so now it blocks anywhere. And
improvements to the scripting extensions and blocks. Right.
Kinda. Well, that kind of plays with that, but there's also the ability to entirely disable the Windows script host, and that's under the maximum plan. So maximum and extreme will have that. And since I keep mentioning it, we have a new plan level called extreme, which basically just enables all of the protection functionality, even the currently not recommended EXE filtering and the beta honeypot detection. So you can kind of just set that quickly and easily. Yeah, and I think it's working pretty well. Fixed some minor issues with the automatic plans selection issue where if you closed out a window adding a blacklist or whitelist incorrectly, well, not incorrectly, but a different way than I expected, then it will actually show you the main interface again. And also fix an issue where the honeypot files weren't getting cleaned up on uninstall or removing protection. So, hey, Futures Tech Sheree, welcome and good morning. What else do we got going on?
Oh, I just want everyone to keep in mind that you know, since we're nearing the release of CryptoPrevent 8, our sale will be over, you know, with the release of CP8. So you need to get in and make your purchases before the end of the sale. We currently have is it 20% off on all bulk packages, all CryptoPrevent across the line except for the unlimited, which we are offering 40% off, which is a great discount.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, that's not that drive anymore. Let's see what else we got. So, what else? Anything else? Anybody? All right. Well, I did have some interesting links saved up.
Yeah, if you, I mean, I can probably talk about links if you need to kill some time or whatever. But there's the robot ethics one would be our robot story of the day. I would suggest, and maybe the anonymous children's hospital thing. That one looks good to talk about. And
what?
And
no, wait. Talk about that one.
Let's go ahead and talk about that one.
Yeah. What anonymous children's hospital?
Okay, so so there was an anonymous hacker who was arrested in connection with this with the a number of healthcare and treatment facilities in the Boston area.
I thought you were talking about the Children's Hospital show.
Oh, no.
I was all excited. I was like, Anonymous did something with Children's Hospital
Boston,
show? That's awesome.
Boston Children's Hospital, and that's just a generic term for a Boston hospital that might facilitate the treatment.
So weird. There's a show, and who cares?
Okay.
What's this about? No, really. What are they? What? Tell us.
Good.
Oh. So no, this is just if you've been following, we don't oftentimes see or understand why people may have committed the crime. We see their face on the screen and we see the crime or whatever and the arrest and oh, it's a hacker and yada yada, but most of us, unless we're have an interest in it, don't really look into it. And at least now we can see. I mean, the reason or this person's reasoning. Martin Gottsfeld, and it's apparently because of how he believes a patient very close to him was mistreated in care. So, there was motivation. I didn't go into the details, and I didn't want to. This doesn't necessarily excuse his actions per se, but there. It's good. I just, I hate when somebody commits a crime and there's seemingly no motivation or just randomness or whatever. I like slightly more ordered.
Okay. Well, what crime and huh?
Well, he attacked some hospitals.
We don't know. Okay. And did what?
So, and he was arrested as a result of it.
But what did he do? He hacked into a hospital. What did he do when he was in the hospital?
Well, he stole information and patient records, and I think it was related to maybe even doing the ransomware. Let me see.
Michael, do you have a link that you're trying to read on and babble about?
Because we have no idea what you're talking about.
So just post that first, and then while you're babbling.
Oh no, it was just it was just the DDoS attack. And here's the original story on the guy. And
oh man,
here is the follow up on why he did it.
Because we're interested in what actually happened.
And Futures Textury, I am glad you liked it. I did try a new style of trying to kind of do things off the cuff with it, so you can kind of see what issues and problems you might run into getting one set up. So glad you liked the Windows PE building show we did yesterday as our Monday focus show. And Eric, I've seen that link. I don't know. I'm not big in, like, for my Linux boxes, I'm doing actual stuff on them. I'm not big on setting little things for it, but still, it is fun. Still fun that you can do that. And Nick, you don't know about the Children's Hospital show?
No.
It was a show that came on Adult Swim for about 8 years, I think. And I thought it's hilarious, but it's the kind of the precursor to NTSF SD SUV.
What?
What did you just say? Okay.
The Children's Hospital takes like those I don't even know the name of them, but those doctor drama TV shows, and does it as a full-on comedy and just outrageousness.
It's a very brief show. It's
so
not even 20 minutes. It's barely 20 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
But
they have children in there, and they do like they're trying to take care of children, but they do jokes and things on it. NTSF SD SUV is a play on those like law crime shows. Like,
I got it. Yeah, I figured that out. But what's that on? And is that a similar?
They were both on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and neither of them are still on the air. But
which one ran longer?
Children's Hospital ran way longer, and it was actually they decided to cancel the show when it was at kind of a high point. So I watched another video with Rob Cordy, the creator, and he was like, "Yeah, people really love that show, but we didn't want to see it like wither away and die." So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched that show in its entirety. I can vouch for Children's Hospital being comedy, good, strong comedy.
You don't really need to vouch for something to be a comedy.
Yeah.
At any rate,
It either is or it isn't.
Hey, listen, there's a $30 alternative to those EpiPens for all those folks out there who are suffering and need access and don't have the $500 or whatever coupon that they're going to get, reducing it to $300 or whatever. There's a $30 solution for you guys. So it looks like it's fairly straightforward and easy to do, and the parts can all be purchased online, and apparently you'd love that part about it. So start making some EpiPens.
If you're using EpiPens in bulk, though, you might want to consider a change of lifestyle.
No, I'm just saying that.
Like, that's what concerned me about that. Like, they were like, this is a big problem. People can't get a bunch of these anymore. And I'm like, wait a minute. They should probably not be, like, doing things they're allergic to and stuff like that.
You don't understand that there's a lot of people. So how many millions, hundreds of million, or not no, maybe not that much, but there's got to be a few million people that have and need these. So there does have to be a lot of.
I know they need them, but it's not something that you need to buy in bulk.
I'm not. Do any of these things suggest that they're buying in bulk? It's just allowing consumers to purchase, not in bulk. You know,
so the insurance doesn't pay for those at all?
I mean,
you're not ending up with like a $20 copay already?
Everybody has insurance now, so these prices, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but they don't cover it up to, you know, with the premiums and stuff like that. I mean, most of these things, at least for the first part in the consumer's year, unless they're you know, doing a lot of medical visits, they're probably paying most of it out of pocket.
I mean, with prescriptions, usually you can get plans that cover like 20 to
80% is typically what it is.
So that all you're paying is 20% of that. So
let's see.
That would be $100 of $500.
Oh yeah. $500 is the cost of the pen. Okay. No, they raised it by $500. That's not the cost of the pen. The cost of the pen was $700. So you'd only pay $560.
There we go. So Cherie actually
Or
has some
80% of it would be
reasonable
substance
points about it, unlike Michael's, which are the schools are the ones getting hit the hardest with this, and they, of course, don't have money for that kind of stuff, and probably are being overcharged for it as
Oh, and
well.
expiration dates. That's a good point.
And they have expire dates. So I did not know that. I thought they were kind of a self-contained and lasted for a decent amount of
Well,
time.
no, well, that's the same with
I wonder if that's
glucagon injections. Glucagon injections are the same way for that, and that's then used in kind of the same manner for people with.
I wonder how well the medical industry expire dates are handled. Because, like, I know for a
Well,
fact,
there's a reason for those.
but I know for a fact you can take Advil and ibuprofen and those kind of things and cough syrups and stuff way, 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 way after their
You
expiration.
can, but it's not going. The drugs aren't going to be as effective. They're going to start to lose their potency.
They're still good.
Well, to what extent? And if your life depends upon a certain potency of something, I mean, sure, Advil is not going to be one of those cases, but
But I would kind of wonder, like, I don't know if those are regulated at all, just like the food industry. It's set by the manufacturer, and they're like, oh, this is the best use by date.
I don't know in the case. I think the medical case is an exception to that. But I
don't know any research on it, but I'd be curious to check into that because
could be wrong. But
I mean, I know that I've taken cough syrup that's been years past expired.
point is,
It still made me better, and I've taken.
Still think the point goes back to that these are life-saving drugs and treatments, and nobody just uses them casually. Oh, I want to go to a party and use an EpiPen. No, that's not how this works out.
Yeah,
These
I mean,
are
you don't
not
want to have your like 4-year-old EpiPen sitting around and inject yourself, and it's 20% less effective than it was 3 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
And
well, there's that.
You
There's
might
that.
die because it's not 100% effective.
But you need to use it in an absolute emergency, and they're just basically they're making it harder and profiting on the desperation of patients, and on that level, I mean, regardless of these issues of costs or anything else, the very fact that they're engaging of that to me is deplorable and almost is completely against the oath that they, the doctors. Should,
Well, I don't think the pharmaceutical companies take an oath.
Pharmaceuticals aren't taking oath.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's true.
I mean, they're
Not, but they're usually doctors, aren't they, that run
their
it?
board might have some weird things that.
Don't they have doctors on the board?
No,
Anything?
usually not. It's
No, I don't
usually people called investors that make money.
But have they made any accounting for why their price increased from $100 in 2007 to $600 today?
Because they can.
That's
don't
Because
have
they
to
can.
explain
That's the
that.
only.
it's essentially because they saw that Martin Tree douchebag got away with it completely, and they were like, oh, we can get away with this completely. There's no such thing as price gouging in the medical industry, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, they said, like, oh, that looks like a great idea. This is the best news I've read all day when they read the story about that jerk.
And it's pretty crazy that they can use patents and things to essentially create monopolies, and nothing can be done about it.
Yeah, like I said, like insulin production is another good example of that. There's no reason in the world why insulin production shouldn't be, first of all, commonplace, be done by anyone, and and should be cheap. Should be dirt cheap. Should be like cheaper than anything you can imagine in your life that you can.
Well, if America has its way about it, supply and demand is going to make that more realistic.
Well, supply and demand only because we've as we saw the other day with the leak of the news that the sugar companies were, since the 50s or whatever, they were Harvard backed people were taking bribes from the sugar company to basically change the reports on cardiovascular health to put the blame solely on fat and not on sugar. And basically the whole problem we have with diabetes today is a result of somebody taking money. Now, the only saving grace in this story is that those people
Not quite sure that's true.
were bribed back then are all dead now. But
I'm
other
not
than that,
quite sure that's true.
what do you mean? They released the notes. I can show it to you.
No, I don't think that it's solely responsible for the reason we have such an issue with diabetes.
Because everybody said that, no, eating sugar is fine. They did for the longest time. Look at the commercials, look at the ads, look at the TV. Even the doctor's visits had, why do you get a lollipop at the doctor's office? They're just giving sugar to kids because everyone said that it's fine.
Michael, you can have sugar. The problem is overindulgence in such an item.
And exactly, pushing it every time you come around the corner and dismissing all the blame on fats and things.
No, that is a responsibility issue. I'm not going to have my mind changed about that.
Well, if doctors come on TV and say,
like, there's certain ways that it's not like yours is not. Yours
what are you going to do if a doctor says eat as much sugar as you want to, but just don't eat the fat?
Doctors don't say that.
They did back then.
No. All right, we're going to move on.
What? Never mind. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, because they're completely different. Awesome, Nels. Yeah, Thundercats is a pretty good show. I think Nick actually likes it more than I do.
Oh, back in the day. I guess there's a new one out. I haven't checked into it. I did watch Voltron. I did watch the first episode.
How was that?
I fell asleep because it was really boring. It's like a little bit of a movie or something, and I fell asleep because it was really boring, but Wyatt really enjoyed it. So,
that's good.
So, we'll check it out again.
Oh, yeah, and to throw out there, since we didn't yesterday, Z Nation is back for its third season, had a 120-minute premiere episode, and was pretty awesome. So, highly recommend that show if you like zombies and apocalypse. I feel like they have one of the best zombie apocalypse universes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny and interesting, and they come up with new apocalyptic things you wouldn't think of each show almost. So, yeah, I like it. All right, well, we're skipping over what Michael last posted, and
what? It's that.
I don't care. I really don't care. So, yeah, in heart disease, not in diabetes. Anyway, Michael, gosh, I fell right into that. Gosh, stop. Just stop. Let's talk about this, because this is a little bit more interesting. So, all right, before I post the link, I just want to say, kind of give you a brief synopsis of what's going on with it. So, if you don't know right now, Snowden is trying to partition Obama to give him a pardon, and I honestly think it would be an awesome idea. Yeah, what he said for Obama's last day in office to pardon Snowden and have the next president deal with it, because whoever's going to be the next president should have to deal with something like that. So I think that would be an awesome idea for his last day in office. I hope he does that. But past that, a lot of places are kind of giving their stance and opinion on it. The Senate had a committee hearing, and they called him a traitor and released all kinds of things. A couple newspapers have come out and said what their opinion is. The Guardian, who was the first to really pull this, New York Times and Intercept have all weighed in. And let's see what else. So this story is about the Washington Post, who now, the Washington Post is one of the people that was given the documents to vet and then release. And Snowden came out with a video that basically said, I was doing this for the public good. I mean, we can obviously see there's been changes made. It hasn't detrimentally ruined America and security and things like that. It's just informed the public, and it's been for the public good. So I don't think I think it weighs out the wrongs of it. However, the Washington Post had a little bit different spin on it, which this is kind of the meat of this story, which the Washington Post was like, so yeah, the one thing, the leak that Snowden released that was related to the program stretch of an outright violation of federal surveillance law. That was a good one. That's good. However, he also pilfered and leaked information on a separate overseas internet or NSA internet monitoring program, PRISM, that was both clearly legal and not clearly threatening to privacy. It's also not permanent. The law authorizing expires next year. And this is what the Washington Post said in their article about what they feel about it. The funny thing is, guess who released the information about PRISM out of all those documents that was given to them? The Washington Post. So the Washington Post thinks it's okay for them to release that information to sell their newspapers, but don't think it was okay for them to have released that information to protect Snowden. So that's kind of like, really? Right back and forth on each other? That's crazy. Michael's luckily muted, so we're going to let him continue.
No. So the two.
Well, I knew.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I have conflicting feelings within my own self. I'm not going to talk.
Okay, I just wanted to just say that everyone seems to have differing viewpoints on the Snowden issue. So there's the pro viewpoint, which is oftentimes outlined like that. I hope you didn't already post these links, and then there's the con viewpoint of it. Now, these are both very strong points, and I'm kind of at a toss up. There's a lot of talk of the pardon, but it is important to understand both sides of this argument and where they're coming from. And these are written fairly well. They're good. They're good pieces. They're not terribly long. You can read them through in a few moments. It didn't take me, but probably 5 minutes to read it all. So take a look and just see, why you feel you do in a particular case.
So the most he did was copy documents after he thought that what he was doing or what was being done around him wasn't right. So he copied documents and took them out of a secure facility. That's the illegal stuff that he did. Now, where he handled it past that, I believe, is where he did everything right. Like, WikiLeaks was around at this time. He could have just posted all of that stuff to WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks would have just almost orgasmed.
Well, WikiLeaks and Lemmiwinks would have gotten together and we would have all, thrown us under the bus. But no, it would have been bad. But
he went through the press. The press vetted it and released information, although Washington Post obviously points out that they did it for different reasons. But I think he did it the right way, and I think that basically
generally agreement that a lot more good came out of it than any harm. And while the
biggest issue is the harm that was done was people are now butthurt. So those people are the ones that are in power and don't want to see this come back again.
Don't just read like that first link that I posted, the pro. Read the second one too, and just make sure after you read the second one that you're still comfortable with that opinion going into it.
Do like Michael does. Don't read what he posts. Don't read this one. Look at the title.
I'm going to go with the first title. Yep, that one looks better. It's a lot more positive.
The second one is the one I want you to read, though.
I read the title, and I'm not a fan of it. It's too negative.
Oh, but
it has too many contractions, which is close enough to contradictions that I don't even think I could read it. I thought this was pretty interesting, though. We may have Terabit fiber optic speeds coming. Nokia and Dish Telecom have managed 1 terabits per second in the field over fiber optic transmission. So our puny 60 megabits here in the US is going to be worthless coming forward, but It's sad that we created the internet and the rest of the
The
world
internet.
The
doing it
internet.
faster. The internet. Intervetting.
Better inner than outer. Or, wait a minute. Never mind.
Oh my.
Yeah, and that's very true, Quark. If someone, it probably wouldn't have just been one person that was killed very fast. It probably would have been wars worth of people that would have killed pretty fast. Oh, and they had a discussion over Edward Snowden and his actions just like this. Cool, Eric. So, Joe Chamberlain, I saw you did have a question about anything good to do with an ESXI server. I haven't ever played or used with one of those. I believe they're good for virtual machines, right? Virtual environment setups. They're pretty good for that. Beavis would actually be the person to ask. I believe he's got an ESXi server sitting around his house. Chris Safari, if he ever comes and joins the show, I believe runs a ESXi, and he does do it with virtual machines to run his domain and things like that. So they're good if you have access to one. As far as I hear, it's pretty reliable systems, worth it. So have fun. I guess what you should do with it is you should have fun, set something up, and report back to us with what you did. 5 ESXi servers. Wow, Futures Tech Tree. So what do you do with those 5? That's a good question. That'll be helpful. Uses them all the time. They're great. Yep, that's essentially what I've heard from people that do have access to those. So, I know that.
Oh, is that what it's in a? I did not know it was an acronym for that.
Elastic SkyX. Man, that does sound cooler.
Yeah, right.
So Cherie uses it for test labs and client sandboxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's good stuff. Eric's on the Snowden thing. So the number one thing, I feel like that's what he was supposed to release it to the press, and that at that point it becomes the press's responsibility. The press has the right to that information, and they should have vetted it correctly, and if they release that information, then they should be held accountable for it. Like, that kind of takes you right back to the Washington Post thing. Like, the Washington Post is now saying that they don't feel like that information should have been released, but they were the ones that released it. So they vetted the information, they released it, and now they're saying, oh, he shouldn't have leaked those. And it's like he didn't want to go through the 8,000 plus documents that he had. He
but
feel like he could.
There's another
those, so
there's
that's
another
why
argument, Brantley. There's another argument, and I'll place it very quickly here. But there was a vast number of documents that had nothing to do with the operation, inside surveillance of inside the U.S. These are overseas operations, and so all of his stuff about, this was done to promote the discussion of security in this country or privacy in this country and surveillance in this country rather, really doesn't fully account for everything he stole. Now, did he not know the breadth of what he stole?
My only issue with that though is that we're not an isolation country. We're not North Korea. It's not like we can only discuss here if we're talking about it, because as soon as you leave U.S. borders, you're subject to all that surveillance that we're doing outside of the U.S. borders. I feel like that kind of plays into our security. We should be aware that our government is out there monitoring the UK and Europe and China and.
But that's but some of that information is the exact information that Futures Eric is talking about. The information that potentially put our soldiers' lives at risk
And
or possibly compromise.
that's what I'm saying, though. He
engaged in.
released it to the press. It becomes the press's responsibility at that point. If they want to press charges to anyone, then they should be pressing charges against the press who vetted it and released the information. He didn't leak the information. He didn't go out and just give it out willy-nilly. That's the big difference here. If he had done this to WikiLeaks, sure, treat him just like they treat Julian Assange. That's fine. But he didn't. He gave it to someone he felt more responsible, and he did want to go through chain of command. But
if you go through chain of command, I mean,
he would have been lost and gone before anything happened, and nothing would have changed.
Nothing's probably going to change. It's probably going to get shut down, or he is. If the government is doing something wrong, they're going to do what is necessary to protect themselves, to hide it, to keep from getting caught. We do need whistleblowers in the case when the government is doing something illegal or something it shouldn't be doing.
But I do
now
believe
from the media's perspective, if the media has information, they should be responsible with it, but they don't have a legal right to be or a legal obligation to be responsible with it.
Snowden is the only one that
information. Once they have information, they have a right to distribute it.
They're protected, and Snowden isn't in the circumstance.
Snowden was in a position where he is someone that should protect these secrets and not let them get out. But in the case of the government doing something illegal, someone has to step up and do something about it.
It's very good.
The people that are doing something wrong aren't going to police themselves.
Yeah.
And if you send it up the chain of command, that's what's going to happen. It's not going to come out.
The entire chain of command above him was the ones doing this. So
exactly.
That's where the only option he had was to try to get it out. And basically what I feel like he did, I mean, it's not like he was like, oh, this is a good document, let me copy that one over. Oh, this is really good, let me copy that one over. He was like, directory structure, copy, come on. All right, go. And then was like, all right, I got thousands of documents here. I can't go through these. I can't just release ones that I feel is right, and I don't feel like I'm in the position to do that. So I'll give it to a third-party, unbiased opinion and say, here, don't release what you think will threaten national security. Protect these secrets. I'm trusting you to do that. And that's what happened. And the stuff about the overseas, again, I disagree because I feel like we're still subjugated to those things. But the fact that the Post released it, I feel like just because they have access to that information and freedom of the press, they shouldn't get that ability to just post whatever they want. So like it'd be okay if they just posted all the documents they got from Snowden. That doesn't make sense. Like they would be the ones at that point putting people in risk and stuff. So I don't know. It's a big discussion, and I
feel like the Washington Post should have been more responsible with the information that they had.
Yeah, especially if they're going to say that information shouldn't have been released or leaked. Like they were the ones that released it.
Yeah, oops, I shouldn't have done that, but oops, I did, so oh well.
And,
I don't think they didn't even mention that, though. They didn't even say, this information, by the way, was released by us. It had to be another article that was like, hey, you guys said that he shouldn't have released this information, but you guys were the ones that released this information. So, what? So, yeah, I think it's a big discussion. Again, I think this also brings up, like, if he hadn't done that, then we would have been in situations like this. And how does this look for other people that want to report wrongdoing of superiors or government? Like, they're going to have to live their lives like Snowden, apparently? That they're not going to be allowed to come forward and do this? Is that the kind of country that we want to be in? I feel like that's kind of the worst thing about this, is now how many others have wanted to come forward and seen that there's no appropriate way to come forward, so they better just stay silent? Like, how many other things are going on that are just staying silent? And this is 3-4 years old. Technology advances multiple times past this. They're probably on to completely new surveillance projects and just rename things. So I don't know. It's a huge, big discussion. We don't have time to continue more. Exactly, Eric. The system's flawed, and Snowden showed us where and why. And I still don't think that's been addressed or appropriated. And I think that's the bigger problem, whatever happens to him.
But it's good that we considered both sides, and that's what should be done in every good debate. So.
ICUP. Ha 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 ha. Yes. You have a white label CryptoPrevent license, then you are able to use version 8. You can actually go ahead and get the beta installer here. Let me get the link for it again. Basically, you'll have a new beta installer creator, and that will allow you to create new installations, and those new installations, thank you, Michael, will go through and automatically upgrade if you have a previously one, or if you install it on a new system, it'll put the version 8 on there. But any of the versions that you do put out right now will have version 8 and stuff going forward. So you are all set and good. Let's point that out to them just in case they aren't watching the stream or anything. Yeah, so that has a white label creator on it, and check it out. I added a lot of nice new features for you there. You can pretty much access all the protections and policy settings and do everything from the get-go for your installer. And like I said, once you create a new installer on version 8, it will have you'll be able to go and install it on other systems that have version 7 right now, and it'll upgrade it, and everything should work okay. Again, remember it's beta, so probably don't go install it on your largest client in production mode, but if you would do some testing on that, I would love to hear some feedback on it, and if there's any issues or changes that need to be made. I think that one has not been able to be tested as much because we didn't have that many licenses for white label out there. So yeah, feel free to test it. Let us know how it goes. And
we had one confirmation that it works well, so I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I would hope, and let us know otherwise. Or no, let us know either way, actually. We'd love to hear it.
With the honeypot detection, which is in beta, basically, it's working really well against Locky.
Completely will stop it dead in its tracks, from what I've seen with the most recent variants of Locky that I've been able to acquire.
Now that's with the honeypot detection enabled. Locky is one that you have to have the hash definition or something else catch it, so usually it doesn't run from app data or drop its payloads there. So that side of it's still pretty much the same, but test it out. Let us know if you find a sample that doesn't work for it. You even have the ability in the client to upload it to us, and we can review it and add it to our definitions and honeypot detection methods and things like that. So yeah, please test it out. Let us know how it goes. And yeah, definitely if you find one that it's not working well with, upload it to us and we'll check it out and see if we can get it so it does work well with that one. Not a problem at all. Thank you if you have if you test it out and let us know.
And if you want to just quickly upload it to and don't want to set up the beta or whatever, you can use that too. That'll just allow you
to
upload the samples as well.
If you have some samples you want us to test, you can use QuickHash too. So what else we got today? SanDisk is coming out with a Terabyte SD card. I wonder how many devices don't support that.
Terabyte as a regular SD, not micro SD, right? Yeah, regular.
Yeah, regular SD.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last SD card that came out apparently was 2 years old, 512 gigabytes. So it took them this long to get a terabyte into that form factor. So I guess we won't be seeing any terabyte micro SDs anytime soon.
No, that's probably a little way off. I mean, it's going to eventually happen, but I'm guessing, is it just the higher resolution video support that's pushing this? And why so slow to up the capacity? Is it just that much more challenge, I guess, in the small form factor? I guess that's probably it.
From what I understand is
2 years to double the capacity. That's crazy for other form factors.
It is the 4K video usage and whatever that's kind of pulling that. So
yeah, but amazing. I can't tell you how large the first 20 megabyte hard drive that I had, in comparison to what we see today. It's just.
Oh, Michael, you didn't mention that it was hackers that offered that alternative Epipen.
Oh yeah. Packers. But these are more hardware hackers. But
he's like, oh yeah, hackers.
Well, no, they're hardware hackers.
Period.
More so than, I mean, I guess they could probably hack in the other sense as well. But we're talking about 3D printing stuff and yeah, I get, yeah, I just didn't get the definition difference there.
So I had something interesting, and hopefully this demo of it won't be as bad as when I showed Tank. But so I have an issue with my phone, and driving in the car especially. I don't like getting any of those mounts. Tank mentioned he doesn't like having things on his windshield, so those mounts are out for him. The ones that sit on top of the dash and basically are pads don't work for my probably not so good driving, and the vent ones are just too janky, and they always end up breaking and pieces fall inside of my air conditioner and rattle around after I put things on full blast from there. So I don't like any of the mount options out there, and I came across something thanks to Amazon's hey, would you like to try this, that is it's a little pad, and you can kind of see it there, that black square that's on the back of my black phone case, but it's not sticky, so it doesn't have like the sticky residue. You can put it in your pocket. It's not going to come out with pocket lint. Essentially what it is my Nano suction cups. So there's a bunch of little suction cups there, and let's see if I have the same thing that worked well. It works really well in my car. On my dash, I have a smooth spot that we have that I can just stick it there, and it sticks and works just fine. So that's awesome. But if we stick it to the back of this laptop here, you can see that it just stays there. Jounce it around a little bit, and it works. And then just comes right off. No sticky residue on the surface you were on, and like that. So I thought it was really, really well. It's even gotten me into the nice habit of putting my phone face down on a surface when I don't want it to stick to the surface. But that's also good for security, as you're actually supposed to put your phone face down so that people can't see your text messages and things popping up on there. So I'll get you the link to that thing, because
how is it adhered to the phone?
Huh?
How is the pad adhered to the phone?
That is with a sticky substance. Like it's like a sticker for the phone side. What did you say, Johnny?
I said, too bad my mom didn't have one of those things in her hand.
Yeah, I think your mom probably needed an elastic, like one of those child leashes, but for a phone.
I'll be sure to
No, come back here. Get back here, phone. Uh-oh.
To let everybody know, my mom just got a new phone last week. Was it last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago. And she was in the post office, and the guy behind her knocked her arm, and she dropped her phone and completely shattered the screen. So she needs to figure something out.
Huh. Well, apparently I can't sign into my Amazon account. Someone else take over, because I probably need to look into this real quick.
Okay. Let's see. Where was I? One moment. Where are my links? Anybody else got any links today? Stuff to talk about.
Wow, Michael, I can't believe you have nothing to say.
I have a well. You go, Tank. Didn't you?
I didn't say I had anything to say other than that, Todd, you have nothing to say.
That's so much pressure. So much pressure. Let's see if I can get a good video of the day, maybe, or Netflix is upset they can't go into China. Because China has the alternative Netflix service now, like a Netflix Lite service that they're working on, state-owned and stuff like that. So that's, I think that's an issue.
They've had that. That's
Hold on, Poppy.
They've had that for a long ass time. I know people who watch it. And it's quite aggravating, actually.
For the Chinese Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a Disney guy that says he likes, quote, loves piracy. An interesting take on it, because he equates piracy with popularity. And in many ways, that's in many instances, that's actually accurate. If there is a movie being pirated wildly, it's typically one that a lot of people want to see, and or a lot of one that they're excited about.
Yeah, we see that with TV shows as well.
You can almost measure them. You can almost throw away your conventional rating system and just measure them solely based upon that, and the results would just about be the same, I'd imagine.
All right, there we go.
Video of the day. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me just get this last one in. So that's a cool. Let's see. Fence climbing robot. So take a look at that, guys. That's kind of cool. And it may or may not kill us all.
So that link that I posted, the Amazon link, is the Nano suction for phone, and yeah, it's not a bad price, especially when you take into consideration some of those mounts and stuff go for that price or more. So, and again, working in the car, I have no problems with it, even with the off-roading that I've been doing all week. Cue Johnny freaking out now.
Excuse me?
Well, at least you didn't mention the demolition derby.
Stop!
That was a fun time. I'm glad you get talking.
Just stop.
Speaking of Amazon, though, apparently the Amazon Echo is now in the UK. So they finally figured out how to decipher the British accent, and it took them 2 years. So previously, the Amazon Echo was only available in the US, but now it's moved over to the UK as well. I believe that's also the only place that you can get it there. It's the US and UK now. But they do have that new Echo Dot coming out, so we'll see how well that one compares and forms to the actual Echo.
The Dot has been out, though.
Has what?
It has been out.
No, the Dot is now a second generation, so they completely revamped it, and it's down from $99 to $50.
Okay.
With a buy 5 and get 1 free offer even.
Oh, check out. Oh, that link is horrible. Is that link really that bad? I can cut that down, can't I? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, you can. Can you just do NPA? Is it an MPH parser? Is that all that was?
Yeah, let me. But that doesn't have the picture. Where is the?
No, that doesn't pull it up right. That's weird.
Huh.
Yeah, that is a pretty terrible link.
Sorry. There is basically what I wanted to show you out of that was I think this link may be, yeah, that image. So it looks like Apple basically patented the paper bag. Take a look.
Sweet.
And that link at the top is to the patent.
Oh, so we had previously talked about the Miami judge that ruled Bitcoin was not money. Well, apparently the district court judge, a U.S. district court judge in Manhattan, rules that Bitcoin is money. So
yeah, the back and forth on that. So, but there's strong
money is.
I did sort of agree with the most recent one, and I'm sure you probably do too, considering how it's can be used interchangeably with currency and can be exchanged at banks. I mean, there's no reason to believe it's not that. Did you talk about the GoPro drone?
Nope.
You didn't? I'm surprised. I don't know much about it, but it's a little. It's about $800 without the camera, which it's called Karma, and I think they have for $1,000. I think you get it with their new Hero 5 camera, I guess.
Oh no!
What's
one of the one of the people behind Adult Swim Space Ghost Coast to Coast passed away.
Oh.
But in memory of that, they have released all the episodes for free.
That's worth it.
Yeah. Well, not
Awesome.
worth it, but
well, no, and that's maybe not what I should have said.
Ouch! His name is Martin C. Martin Croker. That's a bad name to have to put in an obituary.
Oh, really? Okay.
Hey! If he's one of the people behind Space Ghost Coast to Coast, he would have liked that joke.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we should all be laughing right now.
Yeah, and I think funerals should be celebrations, not sad thing.
That's a good point.
Not really.
Anyway,
it's not a point. That's a comment.
Yeah,
it's an opinion. You didn't.
I don't really think you can go with the slogan "putting the fun back in funerals."
That is going to be the slogan for my funeral.
There's a Saturday Night Live skit, I believe, that used to basically have a take on that. I think. What was it? Was it the one where they were all around the casket? Anyway.
At my funeral, to help remember my life, they're going to roll me in 30 minutes late.
We're gonna have cake.
I'm gonna have
Only 30
collections at
minutes.
my funeral. I'm gonna have collections at my funeral.
We will have cake.
We will have cake.
Will they GoPro also release the Hero 5 camera? Did you mention that, Michael?
Yeah, and they have a bundle with that for $1,000 versus the 800 with it by itself, the drone.
Is their drone any better or different, or?
Look at it. Karma looks pretty cool. I mean, I don't know the specs per se. I don't do drone shopping much, and you would be better off answering that.
It's first-person view, so that's interesting. I don't know. It looks a little bit weak. I don't like the self-contained controllers, although that's a unique design. GoPro, in my opinion, has always been vastly overpriced. It's like the Apple of cameras, so I'm kind of not leaning towards it.
But always.
Yeah, no, it hasn't always been, but they definitely are now. So the first GoPro, I think, was fairly reasonably priced, but the later revisions have been completely unreasonably priced.
What's unreasonable is that I don't know about the most current ones, but after the first GoPro, the next revision of that increased the price, also included vastly inferior electronics. The quality and the chips inside, it's not the same quality GoPro as the first one. I don't know about them now and the new 4K, or I don't know, whatever the new one is, but for a while, like after the first revision, then they really went to crap and jacked the price off. I don't know. Well, that's what I was told anyway by several people who convinced me to buy the first GoPro before they released the crappy one and raised the price.
I did not know that. I do like the drones folding for easy portability, carry and stuff. And I'm not very big fan on the self-contained controller, because I mean, like, now you have to have a different controller for each of your drones, kind of thing. But it looks like they have speakers, so I'm guessing it has. Well, GoPros have mics and stuff on them, so. I really just don't like the fact that you have to buy a separate freaking camera for your freaking drone, and then they overprice the camera and the drone, which is just ridiculous. It's got a nice little carrying case backpack.
Here's a good little article on protocol analyzers if anyone is interested in network traffic analysis.
Man, if anybody out there can either go through and watch all of our old shows and find this for me, or if they know about this, I had a program at one point in time over the past year and a half that it was essentially Wireshark, but instead of like Wireshark where you actually have to know things, it broke down the stuff that Wireshark does and gives you like nice little tabs and analysts and everything. And I cannot find that anymore, and I cannot remember for the life of me what the name was, and I've since reloaded my OS a couple times, so I don't have it installed anymore. But it was an awesome program. It was way nicer than Wireshark. I didn't have to pay for it as far as I recall. So at least it has a demo version with functionalities in it.
You want this very much, so you
but
don't.
It's like
it's the name or
it gathered everything basically Wireshark did. Even used the same PCAP stuff and all that stuff that Wireshark does, but it just broke everything down into tabs, so you could see what program was calling what websites.
By
and
the way,
various things like
Wireshark has
that.
improved a little bit over the years too.
Yeah, but Wireshark, you still got to know filters and understand networks and
Well,
packets.
that article goes into a lot of those details, and so if you
I
guys,
don't want to learn that. I want it to do it for me. I can understand tabs. I don't see why I have to learn network packet details. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, if anyone knows of that program or seen something like it, please let me know, because it is not on the Wireshark alternatives, and I cannot for the life of me remember it. And it was an awesome freaking program for being able to do some of the things that I was doing. So yeah, and this just goes into Wireshark. And look, why am I going to look at hexadecimals and try to match up strings? It's ridiculous. Wireshark is a great program, super powerful, just not user friendly. And that's what upsets me. So anyway, just wanted to reach out, call out. Hopefully someone can help out. Let us know. But we are past our hour time limit, so let's go ahead and wrap up on that note for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Futures Tech crew for indulging and expanding on our Snowden conversation. That was very nice. And as always, all of our conversations, it's very nice to have y'all here. I_C_U_P. Haha, it doesn't sound that good that way, does it? Please test out that white label creator for version 8 beta. Let me know how you like it. I think it's a vast improvement from what you have access to now on creating new setups and installs. We mentioned at the beginning of the show, you weren't here, I don't believe, that it's close to being production ready. So we're pretty much just adding new features and minor polishing UI interface issues. So let us know if you have any questions or issues with it. Use that form on that page to contact us. We'll be able to get it quickly and react to it. And yeah, thanks for that. Otherwise, thanks everyone. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Wednesday, half the week. Again, we are here to provide support and answer any questions about our products and services. But until tomorrow, we bid you adieu. Go ahead, Proctor. Take us out.
my internet.